Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Practitioner Tuesday training. I am your host, Gina Schatz. So happy to have you here. We are at the start of a new month. We are at the start. Hey, Gary, we are at the start of a new focus for the month. And I am particularly excited about this focus. We're going to talk about making a good living. We're going to talk about money mindset, where it's our money month. And just recognize as I say the word money, what happens to your insides. Most of us have a reaction to that word, which is super interesting because it's just a word and it's universally understood. And yet there's all this hullabaloo about it. That said, we're going to dive into it and find out what is our hullabaloo and what might be in the way, if anything, of us really thriving. So I'm delighted to talk to you about this. I normally don't talk money and professional development outside of my year-long program, but I think it's time. I think it's a really perfect time. Gary is nodding. Good. I'm happy that you agree. Yeah, I feel like there's every couple of years now, I'm pulling out my copy that I wrote about being able to not only survive a recession, but thrive during a recession. I've, I've been at this rodeo for a while, a couple decades now, so I've been through more than one of them. And it always sort of strikes me as like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean this? What? No, that's an outside. Recession's on the outside of us. And so I've been really listening this year more closely to the conversation that's happening. And I recognize there's a lot of disappointment, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of frustration, not too different from any other threat of a recession or actual recession. But I firmly believe that it doesn't really matter what's happening in the outside world as much as it matters what's happening on the inside world, because there are also practitioners who don't thrive absent of a recession. So easy for us to blame the outside economy when really there's work for us to clean up on the inside. And when we clean up the work on the inside, the outside looks better too. So I would love to open up conversation as we get started here to say, most of the conversation around money tends to get a little quieter than it does around functional anatomy. I understand that. Hello to you who are here watching on YouTube. I can see that you're here. Can't see who's here though. If you want to let me know who's here, I would love to know who you are specifically, but I can see there are several of you watching on YouTube and I'm happy about that. And I want to just say that at the beginning of our conversation here, I'm intending to do most of the talking because this is the conversation where we don't like to jump in as much as we do when we're asking questions about anatomy. But if you have even an inkling of courage in you to have the conversation openly, I highly recommend it. Because what happened for me when I started talking openly about money to people who weren't my friends and family, just in business settings, in business coaching, in leadership development, as soon as I started opening up myself to talk about it, I was open to talk about it. And as soon as I'm open to talk about it, I'm open. And as soon as I'm open, palms are open, I'm no longer gripping in fear. Now I'm open. So just the energy around being open to have the conversation already changes your relationship with money. So we're going to talk this month about our money type, which is just like any other blueprint that you've used to identify who you be. We're going to talk about what I mean about value for value, which I start out every year in my year-long program saying it's about value for value. It's not being really good and then waiting to be acknowledged for that. And it's not being really good and still struggling. It's value for value. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a value-driven practice, which I really like to bring full openness around of, like, are you designing your practice based on your values? Not your value, like value of who you are, but what you want out of the world. There's something about being an hourly service provider where there's the chase. You guys know what I mean by the chase? You're like, okay, well, I'm going to take Friday at 4 o'clock and I'm going to go do XYZ in my life. And then a client calls at 10 minutes to 2 and says, hey, do you have any openings today? And you're like, okay, life's on hold. I'm going to go do the thing with the client. And obviously we're doing that because we want to be in service to them. We're big hearted. Like that's what we're here to do. Like we live for that. And when we're clear on what our values are for ourselves, we actually can provide more Doesn't mean take or not take the 4 p.m. client. That's not what I'm saying. But what gets you to make that decision tends to be a little bit of the chasing the dollar. Well, I only have so many hours in the day. I only had so many clients scheduled for today. So I'm going to take the client at the time that I can get the client to come in, and then I'll go do this other stuff later. And so there's this little like disjointed way of how we run our business as well. And for those practitioners who are just booked slammed, they're booked slammed. And then what? What else are you doing? Who else are you being? Are you just full scheduled with clients? And then what about the rest of of your life? So there seems to be this pendulum swing between overbooked, booked, and not quite enough booked. And both of them are still sort of in this chase for the, how do I get enough? How do I get enough? And that question right there is the scarcity model that we get to break. That has nothing to do with the outside economy. That has to do with our internal wiring. Hey, Sally, Sherry, it's Sherry that's here. Hey, Lovey, conversation is more important than the conversation inside is more important than the outside. Need to hear it. I'm ready to expand. Go, Sherry. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. Love that you're here. Okay. So I want to start off our conversation today about something I recently heard this weekend from a lovely fellow named Lewis Howes. Does anybody here know who Lewis Howes is? He's an incredible leader in his own right. He has a very popular podcast. I'm not going to say we run in the same circles because we don't, but we have been through the same leadership training. So I really love listening to him as a leader. And he was in an interview and I just happened to see this clip over the weekend. Usually I see him running the interview because he's got this very successful podcast, but I happened to see a clip of him being interviewed. And he said this about money. Never heard this before. Love this approach. And he said, if money was a person and money walked into the room, what would your initial response be to money as a person walking into the room where you are? And at that point, I paused the video. I was like, what? Yes, Howes, exactly, Gary. Yep, Howes. So at that point, I paused the video because I was like, wait, I don't want to hear him say the answer yet. Videos are kind of quick, like the shorts, like we even speed ours up because they have to be under have to be under 58 seconds or whatever. I was like, wait, let me just think about this. How would I react? And I was sitting right here in this seat where I am right now. And I paused the video and I looked up and imagined that money was walking in as a person. And I was flummoxed by my response. I was like, wow, what the heck? The way I would have responded to money if money walked in and was a person, I would have been a little bit like, oh, who are you? Wait, what are you doing here? What? I would have had all of this, not the way I would greet somebody if I loved them. Right? When my friends come in, I like got the door propped open. I'm like, come on in. Don't even knock. Just please welcome. Come on in. And they come in and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I just want to share everything with them. Right. And I thought, oh, isn't this interesting that if money was a person, I would not greet money the same way I greet people that I love. Well, hello. That's my relationship status then. Not great. Not as loving as it could be. And I heard Lewis go on to say when I started the video again, I heard him go on to say he'd asked other people in leadership this question. And their response was, if money walked in to the room I was in a restaurant, I would run behind the bar and hide. And then if money saw me, it would feel ominous, like it was creeping over the bar counter, and I would bark at it. What do you want? And I thought, wow, okay, well, I'm not doing too bad then because I just had a little moment of doubt, but wow, right? So we have these reactions that until we personify them, we don't even know that we're carrying them. Like I would consider myself a practitioner who's open to talk about money and value. I don't need to know what your investments are. I'm not in your pocket, but I'm going to talk about it because we're here to make a living, make a very good living doing very good work. Okay. That sounds pretty neutral and equal to me. And I'm more open to talking about it than most of the practitioners I've come in contact with. there's just something about this conversation that everybody's like, no, we don't talk about, money and religion and sex. Okay. Meanwhile, everybody's spending most of their time thinking about one of the three. So let's just talk about it. Or more importantly, let's not focus on money. Let's focus on you and money, because you and money is how you and money be. You and money is how you are either surviving or thriving. You and money is how you're either happy or perplexed, frustrated, scared, wigged out, exhausted. You and money is the key. So let's focus on you and money. And hopefully now you've already walked through that same scenario. If money was a person and it walked into the room, what would your reaction be? How would you greet it? What would that be? Interesting to just take a second and recognize what that is. Gary, you coming on?
Yeah, my first reaction, it's such a kind of a profound question, and it kind of brings you right full force to that. I love that's probably why you liked what Lewis said. My
Yeah.
reaction was, what's taken you so long? I mean, well, yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. You're finally here. I mean, that was my initial reaction to that. So
Oh, good.
I don't know where we go with that, but yeah.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good. I have some ideas. Let's talk about it. Anybody else here
Mhm.
watching live? You guys want to type yours in the conversation in the chat? What's taking you so long, Gary? I love this so much. Are you open to feedback? Are you open to discovery with
Oh
this?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Very first thought that came to mind for me when you asked that question of money, what's taken you so long, is a quote that is in one of my favorite books from the author Marianne Williamson. And she was talking about a different relationship, but relationships are relationships. Like the way we have a relationship with one being is the way we have a relationship with all beings. It's just, we're the common denominator. And what she said with her quote in this book was, was a poem actually. And it was one person saying to the other, oh gosh, can I remember it now? I didn't know you were coming. I wondered what had taken you, or oh gosh, now I forgot the poem. It was something like what you said, Gary. I'm so glad that you're here. I didn't know, I didn't believe you had come. That's what it was. I didn't believe, I'm so happy, and I didn't believe you would come. And the response from the other person was, I know, that's what took me so long. You're believing that I wouldn't be here. Your belief is what runs the show. Nobody is having like an external emphasis or input on our life unless we're powerless and victims and we think that's true. We're the ones that are running the show. So if we believe that it's never going to show, we're right. If we have the running dialogue, as you said, Gary, what's taken you so long, it's going to do and be what you believe it to be. If you believe your spouse is doing their best and lovely at heart and messy as all get out, but forgivable, they'll respond in kind. But if you have the same spouse and you're like, the person never listens, it's always the same freaking thing over and over again, why don't they ever get it right? Then they are going to be guarded because of all that judgment that's coming, right? So it's the same spouse, same behavior, but your behavior is what causes them to show up differently. Every relationship is like that. Our behavior about money, the disbelief that it's going to show, it's like, okay, well, I'll wait till you're ready, right? If you believe I'm never going to come, I probably won't. If you believe that I'm the source of all evil, well, then I'm definitely going to cause ruckus in your life and you're not going to want me around. You're not going to want me around. I won't be around. I'm either going to be there causing a ruckus or I won't be around. Or if you think that money is a neutral equation of value that is universally understood and appreciated, then you'll have enough to universally get around. Like it's your relationship to everybody else that causes part of, not all, but part of how they show up for you. Sherry says, how can I help you? Oh, so Sherry, you said that to money. How can I help you? Interesting. So I'm not hearing your voice there, but I wonder, like, if we're, you get a spam call these days and you're like, yeah, how can I help you? Like, get the F off my phone, right? The money's going to be like, oh, spicy. Okay, nope, not going to have it. Or if you're like, how can I help you? Then they list a long list of things you need to do for them. I would like lemon for my water. I would like no ice in my glass. I would like an extra spoon and a side plate, split the bill, da, 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 da. Then you're like, wow, I got to just keep working for you then. I just got to keep working. I'm in service to you. You're not in service to me. And in a healthy relationship, you're in service to each other. How can I help you, money? And money's like this. And then how can I help you with a down payment to your next home, or paying off debt, or giving you great food to eat to nourish your body, right? A healthy relationship is both servicing the greater whole that you make up. So again, what's our relationship with money? And what I recognized taking myself through the same exercise over the weekend is when I had a little bit of a suspicion, I noticed that I also, with some people in my life, have a little bit of a suspicion. Okay, but what if I just treated everybody like the good friend I was expecting and excited about? And then they could decide if they were going to come. What if I didn't have that like moment of like, hey, what's the suspicion? Like, what's this all about? What if I didn't have that? What if I took that away? I would be more relaxed and everybody approaching me would be more relaxed. Wouldn't that be great? So I recognize that even in my reaction to money, it goes beyond money too. It goes into other relationships, as it would, because it's me showing up in that relationship. It's you showing up, what's taken you so long. I'm going to just put some words not in your mouth, Gary, but just like some words to that. What's taken you so long? If I have that with other people, it's like, you don't do enough for me. I do all of it. I have been waiting a really long time. You're unreliable. I can't trust you. I don't know how to reach you. Like all of those could be possible next language steps in that what's taken you so long. Or it could be, what's taken you so long, I haven't believed about myself that you would show up because I don't believe about myself. I'm not worth it. You won't show up because I'm not actually worthy of you showing up. And deep down, I haven't yet seen that because I'm going to just make it about you. There's lots of ways that you can take your dialogue and just run it through to the end scenario with all kinds of relationships, and then find where the common thread is where you take yourself out of that 10 out of 10. If you don't have a 10 out of 10 relationship where they're experiencing a 10 out of 10 with you and you're experiencing a 10 out of 10 with them, and the two of you together are up to something big, if you're not experiencing that, the best place to look is on your side, right? Not wait for them to be better, but are you being a 10? Are you trusting 100% in your own worth and in the reliability that they'll show up for you? Are you believing that the two of you can create something great together? Are you still in doubt about it? So where can you raise your own 10 out of 10 level in your relationship with all beings? Can I let all beings approach me, even the spam guy? And I got a spam call today too. Can I let the spam guy call and not be all like, I got a spam call over the weekend and I was like instant eye roll, bottom jaw, like block this number, like, oh, I just want to, and I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? Nice relationship response, Gina. Really good, really good. And then I got a spam call today and I was like, no, thank you. Click, no, thank you. Like, not even flustered. And what I recognized is I'm the source of my fluster. Money is not making us flustered. A threat of a recession is not making us flustered. The spam caller is not making me flustered. I'm choosing to be flustered because I got two spam calls, both dialed the same number. One of them got a different response from me than the other. Clearly, it's a me thing. I'm the source of my frustration. Sherry says, like a new client walking in, what needs to be explored? What needs to be explored? Like, okay. And so I'm still going to keep going with you, Sherry, because you're here for it and I love it. When I have a client walk in, I recognize when you're saying what needs to be explored, that I have work to do. I have um I have actually really worked on this actually with clients. It's not that I have to earn my income from them, because that's another mindset thing that we have. Like I have to earn it somehow. I have to do really good. And if I make a mistake, I shouldn't charge. That's not where I'm going. But also, um, it's up to me. Like it's up to me. I'm the practitioner. And there is some truth in that. I have said this before, there are three of you in the room. There's you and your smart mind and all you know about body work. There's the client and everything that they've experienced in their body, their sensations and their history. And there's also the body. The body's got its own agenda, and the person, the client, and you help the body. So there's three of you in the room. Absolutely believe that 100%. And there is also a transference there, because the client doesn't have all the answers that they think you have. And they also don't have the same relationship with the body being magnificent often as you have. So if you know that there's three of you in the room and the client only knows that there's one, there's a natural dissonance there between you and the client. So as you're sharing this here, Sherry, like a new client walking in, what needs to be explored? I'm just digging here. I don't know if this is it, but is it like it's up to me to figure it out? Like there's three of us here, but it's all on my shoulders. I get to explore it. I get to find out the solution, and everybody else is just passive, meaning the client is relying on me. They don't have work to do. And the body's not going to talk to me because it doesn't have, the same way to communicate as a human. It's still on my shoulders. I don't hear that, what you're saying, Sherry. I'm just putting that out there. Maybe someone else who's listening, that could be, maybe it is you. I don't know. But we get to look at that. Like when our first reaction is what it is, what's the meaning underneath that first reaction? What's the meaning under that first reaction? When I recognized that money walked in and I was a little bit spooked, I got to write like, I'm spooked. Why? Oh, because I'm spooked. And here's my list of explanations about that. But what if I just took out the spook? What if I took out that, I had to do all the work as the practitioner, which clearly you do. You're in service to them. And also there's another way to balance that out. Three of you in the room. Yeah, Sherry, I believe that fully. We use that as part of our somatic training in the mastery program, that you get to listen to the body. Otherwise, you miss a huge piece of it and you end up overworking. We're overworking in the session, overworking in your doubt and disgruntledness, and overworking in your fear when the client comes back with the same symptoms a week later or the next session. That Groundhog's Day thing isn't just exhausting because it's repetitive. It can be exhausting because you're doubting yourself the whole time. So being able to listen to the body and what is the body saying is a whole skill set that we weren't taught in school. I wasn't taught it in school. I had to learn it as I go. And I really drive that home because it makes it so much easier than just putting yourself on the chopping block. And think about that. If you don't recognize that there's three of you in the room and that there's only one of you, inherently you are overworking. And if you're overworking to earn a living, inherently in every session, then you're overworking to earn a living. Energetically, you're overworking to earn a living. Psychically, you believe I have to overwork to earn a living. And if that is the belief underlying your relationship, it will infiltrate your relationship, right? In any relationship, if there's two folks that are married and one of them is doing all the work, there's usually, and they haven't agreed on that, there's usually some disappointment on one or both parties. One feels resentful and the other one feels harangued instead of just in agreement. Key reason for burnout. What do you mean by that, Gary? What's the reason for burnout? Thinking it's all up to you?
If you're overworking energetically and emotionally, you can't keep that up at a pace. You're not recharging yourself emotionally or physically. And, I don't know if you mentioned it or I heard it some recently, but massage therapists only last 6 to 8 years in the profession because of burnout. Could be physical burnout. It could be I'm not making enough money burnout. But that's a short career of
Mhm.
something that people love to do, but then just can't all of a sudden.
Absolutely. Yep. And I
Yeah.
did share that statistic, but you were super generous, Gary. The average career span of a massage therapist career is 4 to 6 years. It's the average is 5.
Okay.
And it's been that
Mm,
way for the 3 decades I've been full time. Since I've been licensed as a massage therapist and working full time, that average has never increased. The average career span does not increase. And I'm just like, I'm gobsmacked by that. And so, yeah, we burn out for a lot of reasons. One of them is our relationship to money. Think about it, friends. Like, if there's only so many hours in the day and there's only so many people you can see, then you've got to have a really healthy relationship with money to make those hours work for you. And there's some,
mhm,
I'm in lots of community threads on this topic, and there's some that say, oh, I'm crushing it. I've made multiple six figures the last 5 years. And in the same thread, the next comment down is like, I'm really thinking about a second job. I haven't made more than $12,000. I still live at home with my folks, or I had to move back, or I had to sell my house, or,
mhm,
there's just really some struggle. And what's most interesting about that, not the wide range of experiences in the same industry, financial experiences in the same industry. What's most interesting about that is the comment section.
mm,
And whatever you're putting out there, you will hear more of, because the world works inside out. Again, if I think that my forgetful, clumsy, messy significant other is hopeless and doesn't listen, then I'm right about that. But if I think that my messy, clumsy, forgetful significant other is really well meaning and only wants what's good for both of us, then they'll lean in and try, because they know that they're being
mhm,
supported in their best. So my comment section about the facts in front of me makes all the difference in those facts. So the comment sections underneath these two different types of posts, you'll get more of what you're putting out there. If the practitioner who believes that this is hard and they're never going to make enough money, if they believe that, the comment section will be, well, it depends on where you live and whether your state actually, acknowledges it as a license, and it depends on the demographic that you're in, and maybe your rent is too expensive, and maybe your landlord isn't good, and maybe this, maybe that, all these reasons why it can't happen. And in the previous comment, the multiple six-figure earner, or the six-figure earner over multiple years who's feeling really good and confident, they have the same number of hours in a day. Their sessions are still only the same length. It's still the same hours to work on bodies and make the same numbers in the same length of day. And the comments under those sections will be like, oh yeah, awesome. Same with me. I remember when we hit this. And then they're all like upwriting each other, because the person who put the post out has the belief and the relationship with money that they're going to get more of. You can always tell the mindset of the person who wrote the comment based on the comment section. So
mm,
you can find out your belief system based on your commentary. Do
mm,
you think it's going to work, or do you think you're screwed? Do you think it's hard work, or do you think it's a blessing? Do you love the freedom that you have, or do you wish you had a regular paycheck? Whatever your commentary is what your reality will be. So it's interesting that we do have this wide swing now. And there are some people who can't and haven't made it, and others who can and do and feel really lucky about that. And the difference is the person, not the demographic. It's tempting to want to blame the demographic, but it's not. Sherry says it gives language to what is experienced. 21 years,
mm.
7 full-time in private practice. Good job. You've crushed the average, Sherry. I love this for you. Crushed it. Yay. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by it gives language to what is experienced. Maybe it's a delay and I don't remember what I said back then, but when you say it, Sherry, what do you mean? I know you're contributing to the conversation. If there's something I can also respond to, I'd love to know what that is for you. Okay. So relationship with money is where we're headed today for the first half. Gary, were you just about to say something? It looked like you were reaching for your mute button. Before I switch lanes on us, I don't want to do that too soon.
Just a guess what Sherry might saying is
Okay.
that we have these feelings, but we don't. You're putting to words what the feelings are, and
Mm.
putting to words what the feelings are help us identify where we are and which way we need to go. And I bet that's what she meant.
Oh, good. Well, that makes me feel good. I'm happy about that. That's one of the reasons why I want us to talk about it. When you put words to it, you can get clarity about it. When you can get clarity, then you're back in the power seat. Like you can do something with that, right? It doesn't matter if you never want to make six figures. It doesn't matter if you ever want to be full-time or not. What matters is, are you happy? Have you created happiness for you? Or are you still waiting for it to be delivered? You know, Sherry says, three of us in the room. Oh, three of us in the room gives language to what's experienced. Perfect. And Sherry's saying, yes, Gary, that's it. So you put words to it for her. Amazing. Like minds. I love it. We're all in the hive mind today. We're so good. Okay. So I want to bring up another idea today too, as we're doing our deep dive into money this month. So first one so far, we've talked about your relationship to money. When it walks in the room, how do you react? When you have that reaction, what do you think then? What's your dialogue about your money as your significant other? Are you like murmuring under your breath the whole time about how disappointed you are? Or are you breathing hope and positivity and vision into your inner dialogue with your other party? And that's any relationship, but are you breathing positivity? Are you speaking life into your relationship with money and into your relationship with anybody? Are you speaking life into it, or are you distraught still again and again still? Like where it's up to you, right? So we all get to just, as you said, Gary, shine a light on it and recognize like what is the chatter? Okay, so your relationship with money is part one. The second part that I want to share today too is on money types. So we talk money types in Mastery, and I've started sharing it more openly because it was pivotal for me. I didn't make up the money types. I was taught them, and it was really eye-opening, like really eye-opening. So I was taught money types. The first official full-time business coach I hired when I first moved to New York, I signed up for a year-long mastermind, very high level, high ticket, big investment. And I chose that business coach for a reason. First of all, I chose business coaching because I couldn't work in New York when I first got there. I was still working on getting my license to transfer. So I had some months where I had to physically be there, but I wasn't legally allowed to work. Talk about your money story. Like you gotta know that transition is okay to even, have the courage to make that leap. And so in that window of time, in the first 4 months while I was waiting, I decided I would be, a third of the way through a year-long coaching program. And then once I started working, I'd still be in this coaching program. And the reason I chose that particular coach was because she was also a service provider. She was a health coach before she became a business coach. And kind of parallel to where I'm at in today's conversation, she started noticing that other industry professionals were also struggling with money, but she was making a good living. She was also hustling, like the hours for dollars, and taking the subway through the city so she could go to her clients because she chose not to have an office. She was recognizing how much struggle was involved. And I remember her telling us a story about when she used to sleep on a couch and pet sit for other people to like make ends meet because like she wasn't quite making it as a health coach. And then when she figured out how to get her health coaching business up and running, her same colleagues were coming back to her and saying, "How are you making it?" It's kind of like what we just talked about with the massage therapist. Some of them aren't making it, and some of them are like, "Yeah, I got this. I'm full. I'm full time. I got this." And so what she found was she was spending her time with her colleagues, coaching them instead of learning best industry practices from them, like what we do here on Tuesdays when we come in and talk more anatomy shop to get better at what we're doing. And she recognized that there was a gap for them. And then she started coaching business. She had an MBA, had worked for L'Oreal. She was definitely vetted in the business world. So she wasn't, cross purposes here. She wasn't one of those make-believe coaches that just is a step ahead of you and then charges you a bunch of money to not really get you where you're going. I recognize we've all been stung a lot in that was like 12 years ago at this point. I recognize the coaching industry has, made its way through our doubts, beliefs, and disbeliefs. She was vetted. I appreciated her for a lot of reasons. And early on in my training of practitioners in my method, I recognized what I learned from her as a health coach. You could teach someone very high level skill, and it doesn't mean they'll know how to monetize it. And when I learned that from her, again, watching her through this coaching program, I was like, oh God, well then what's the solution? Because I don't want to become a business coach. I'm really a body worker, and I love training body workers for more body. Like I love that. And I want them to survive. No, I want them to thrive. And so I became, able to offer continuing education credits. And here's something that I'm not happy about in our industry. We cannot offer, as approved continuing education providers, we cannot offer CEs for business training. Can't offer CEs for money mindset. Can't offer CEs for building your relationship with money. Can't offer CEs for that, which is really unsettling because inherently we're independent business owners or we're independent contractors running our own marketing or our own deal. And money is universal, but that's not our focus if our focus is in service to people and their bodies. We didn't have an MBA, most of us, coming into the world of bodywork. So then I really was struck like, well, am I going to end up I don't want to be a business coach. Like I don't have an MBA. I don't want to get an MBA. I want to be a body worker. Oh, head scratcher. What do I do? And so I started utilizing the things that I learned along the way from her and things that I had already learned up until the time when I met her and other, features that I had learned along the way and book authors that I'd followed. And so I add all of that into my year-long program because again, I want my practitioners to thrive. I want all practitioners to thrive though. We are needed on the planet. The work that we do is life-changing and life-altering for some folks, especially when you're, working at levels of orthopedic pain where I hang out too. Which means we have to more than survive. We have to thrive, to come with a very full, robust cup, to be able to pour into someone else's cup that's empty and have both of us with full cups at the end of that. We have to have that ability to do that. And we're just not taught how. And I also believe in order to work at levels of body work that extensive, you've invested quite a bit of time and energy and resources, money into that training. And for what? To not make it back? Talk about the 5-year average of burnout when you leave with credit card debt because you've been paying for all the workshops that you thought were going to be the answer. And what we missed was that we are part of the answer. I can give you all the skill, but if you believe you're not going to make it, you're right. Or I can give you all the skill, and if you believe you're going to make it, you're also right. What do we do about that belief? Where do we learn to have that? It's another reason I want to have this conversation this month so that we all get to believing that our investment is worth it. We are the investment and we get to thrive. So one of the first things I learned from this business coach, I have this one. I don't think I actually brought any of her other tools with me into my mastery program, but this one was a good one. It's called Money Types. She put it together, and there were 4 money types. And the idea was to recognize what your money type is so that you can start observing how you handle your money. Not the relationship necessarily. That's different. I just got that one from Lewis Howes. But how you actually relate to your own money in the balancing of it, like on your balance sheets, in your savings accounts. There are differences in money types, and there were stark differences. And the thing about it is once you know which one you are, you get to know all of them because we fluctuate. Different phases of our life and different circumstances in our life cause you to show up with a different money type. So not only do you not see yourself clearly with money, but if you don't know that there's four of them, you won't see yourself change with money. And then you don't even know who you're being with money. Like you don't recognize how you're handling it because you didn't see it for the first time and you didn't see it shift. So I really like when we all have money types. Sherry says, maybe is that why massage schools don't necessarily teach business aspect? The hours wouldn't count. Yes, exactly. And when it comes to business school, or excuse me, massage therapy school and yoga teacher training and Pilates training and personal training, and these foundational like first steps that we all get to go through and then prove our proficiency to be able to be licensed or certified, credentialed in whatever way. Often we would choose an accredited school, which means they're reporting to another body, and that other body says you have to have this much proficiency. Now think about this. Here's a business mind right here. Think about this, okay? We don't see it this way. From a business perspective, if I'm a school and I need you to have a certain level of proficiency for me to continue to get accreditation and or grants or both, and or grants, then I need you to perform at a certain level. And that means I've got to figure out my curriculum and give it to you in that certain time span. And also, I need to enroll you into my program and promise you the world, the shortest amount of time for the most amount of benefit, which means I'm not going to I'm not going to plump up your program and put stuff in it that I would have a right to charge for. If I'm going to give you 100 more hours, I should earn for that. But you don't want to pay for 100 more hours that aren't going to also get you there quicker, faster, and cheapest. So what happens with foundational programs is they're pretty foundational. Think about it just from the business perspective. And every single practitioner that I've ever met, who I've had this conversation with, massage, yoga, Pilates, personal training, corrective exercise, it doesn't matter. All the same. They all say, well, my school didn't teach me XYZ. There's some sort of limitation in there. You're nodding, Gary. I said it too. We all recognize there's more. There is more. And so to be hard on the school when they got you there as fast and as efficiently as they could is like, again, it's that, how are you in relationship? Are you just a victim and blaming everything around you? Or are you recognizing this is the capacity for this, and I'm going to go get something else next? That would be the most empowered version, instead of like, oh, I'm not making it because my school didn't teach me XYZ. Now, there are some schools that aren't, you probably could have done a better job vetting. And also, they can't teach you everything. It's a 200-hour course. It's 20-hour yoga teacher training of anatomy. Go ahead, Gary. I'm listening.
Oh, it's almost like getting a BA in massage and then going on and getting a master's. And at some point, doing work with you is getting a PhD.
Mhm.
So if you think of it in degrees, in educational degrees, that's really, where massage should be. And it's not, and as you
Right.
say, yeah, you got 250 or 1,000 hours or wherever you are, and then you're out on your own like a fledgling. You got it all,
Exactly.
but
It's such a good
yeah.
analogy, Gary. And here's what I want to share. When I was in massage therapy school, I was also getting my undergraduate degree at the same time. And I didn't have a whole lot of free time, obviously. I was kind of hustling, understandably, and I loved it. And I remember being in the break room in my massage therapy school and listening to the conversations and recognizing how differently they sounded than when I was at university. I'm not making a plug that you have to have an undergraduate degree. Hear me out. What I recognize is that in massage therapy and personal training and yoga and Pilates, there are some who have a vocational mindset, like a trade of work mindset instead of the higher learning that you just outlined for us. And I believe, just as you, the foundational learning is necessary. And there's more if you chose the body as your muse. So when we don't have that level of learning from bachelor's to master's to PhD, when we don't have that already in our mindset, we are thinking vocationally. And there is a growth limit with that mindset. And so that, again, that's an inside job. It's not about the school that you went to necessarily. It can be, but it's really not. It's about you. Simon, hello. Simon says, does the name Felicia Brown ring some to you? Felicia Brown? No. Who's Felicia Brown? Perry says yes. And Simon, who's Felicia Brown? Gary, do you know Felicia Brown? Fill me in, guys. Who's Felicia Brown that you're recognizing that I'm not recognizing? Do I sound like somebody else you've learned from, or somebody else that has a massage school? I'm not sure. Or maybe somebody who's on a board somewhere who decides whether or not we can get CEs for continuing education for business growth. Let me know, loves. Simon and Perry, tell me. Who is that? Okay. So the money types, I'm going to outline them for you here, and oh, we're almost out of time. I'm going to outline them for you here. And actually, you know what I'm also going to do? I'm going to share a link with you. I have a money type mini course that has the worksheets and the video straight from my mastery training. We just extracted, it's like 30-minute video. Simon says she teaches marketing for massage. Oh, okay, good. Great. Somebody's teaching marketing for massage. Yay. I hope that you're following her and that you're getting really good stuff from her. Thanks for giving us somebody else to keep touch with. So I'm going to give you guys the link to this. I'll put it in the comment section. I'm thinking, can I give this to you guys next week? We could absolutely outline the money types again next week. I want you guys to have them today, though. I already mentioned them. I want you to have them today. I'll put the link below. There's no obligation, guys. It's just a free, you just get an email and it pops up in your inbox. And I need you to do the email so that I know you're not a bot, so you don't like take down my site. So some people say it's not free, you're asking for an email. Right, because I don't want you to take down, I don't want a bot to get hold of it and take down my site. If you don't want to drop the email, you don't have to. That's not a problem. But if you do want it, that's it. Just email and then you can have the worksheets and the video. And in that video, I walk through the 4 different types of your money types and then how to identify them and your corrective actions to take so that you can balance them. Because here's the thing with money types. There's 4 of them, as I mentioned, and they all work and they like have it's like a yin yang. They have like this money type has this benefit to it. And it also has this other thing that's not so great if you go too far this direction. And then this second money type has this benefit to it. But if you don't keep your eye on it, it also does that. So, and that's true for all of us, right? Like it's true for all of us in all aspects of our personality. So the money type class, the mini course, it walks you through these 4 types of how to identify them and how to identify if you're imbalanced in them, like not so great over here. We'll give you an example. There's a saver, right? A saver is great. They're set up for the future. They know exactly how much money they have in the bank and they live within their means and it's safe there. Money-wise is safe. However, savers also save more than they spend. So then they hold back on themselves. They actually develop their skill late. They would also fall into that average 5-year career span of a massage therapist career because they won't invest in the master's or the PhD. They're still at the vocation, hustling and saving every dollar instead of investing to get themselves further faster. So there's benefits to being a saver, but then there's also this like, but what about this other thing? What about the flip side of it? So this money type workshop goes through all of that. And you could see there's benefits and then I can be held back on this. And then it talks you through the corrective actions that you can take so you can ID your own money type and check out the balancing actions. And if you need to do any of that, to check yourself. Are you only saving and not spending? Are you holding yourself back? How long has it been since you invested in a higher level learning? As an example, it's the only example I'm going to offer here. So, and then we have worksheets. You could worksheet, you could workshop out all the different money types. So I'll share the link with that with you here below the training today. And then when we meet next week, oh, this is like being in the container when I'm actually teaching my practitioners. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you something to do this week. And then next week, we're going to talk about it. So come back next week for Tuesday training. And for those of you who took the money type mini course and did the worksheets, you could bring your money types and I'm happy to sort them out with you if you haven't already figured it out. But we'll start Tuesday training next week with our money type review, and then I'll work on value for value, which was slotted for next week. How does that sound, Gary? Are you up for some homework and making it like a continued? It's kind of like when we did client work. We're like, the client presented with this. Oh, we got this far. Next week, we'll have a cliffhanger. I don't typically do that with Tuesday trainings. I don't typically have cliffhangers, but just because of the time, I'm going to do that this week. Go ahead, Gary. What do you got?
Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we get to up-level our relationship with money. So for those of you who are here live, come right back to the video afterward. I hadn't intended to drop the link, so that's why I don't have it. I wasn't here to pitch you on this, but I do recognize the time. So come back to the video afterward. I'll put the link in there. And Gary, you're in the club. I'll put it in the club as well, so you can have it in there. You don't have to go back to YouTube. And then, yeah, see what you guys identify with yourself and your money types and where you are allowing yourself to beat those 5-year average odds and where you might be holding yourself to those 5-year average odds. And then, could you break the borders for yourself and let this be the year that you blossom? Wouldn't that be amazing to show yourself that you could blossom the year that there's a threat of a recession? Just so you could prove to yourself it's not about the recession. It's a you thing. It's a you thing and how you relate to money and your relationship with money and what you believe is possible for yourself. That's what we're up to right now. That's all inside work. There's so much to grow just on the inside. We don't have to be so worried about what's happening on the outside. Gary. Can always tell when you're reaching for your mute button.
Well, I just really appreciate this. This is very generous of you because it's going way beyond, as we said, what schools will do and even what business coaches will do. A lot of business coaches don't even have the information that you're about to share with us. So thank you for this. Yeah.
Gary, amazing. Thank you so much for that feedback. I'm glad it feels generous. I got hearts and claps from Simon. Okay, good. Everybody's on board. Okay, great. So you guys get to do your money types and then come back next week. Or you could also email me in the week and we could be in conversation about it. And of course, if you're in the club, we're on money all month in the club. This is what we're doing in Tuesday training is in addition to what we're doing in the club. If you really want to do a deep dive in your money stuff, join us there too, because we have a boot camp going on in there right now. Gary, have you started the boot camp yet in the club? Not yet?
No, thank you. I wasn't up on that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got it. So yep, our club is locked and loaded for the month. We're literally going to create a paradigm shift by the end of May. And for all practitioners, everybody with the sound of my voice. Okay, my friends, it's been so fun. Thank you so much for your open, honest conversation about money. Sherry, love that you're diving in. Thank you, Simon, for also being here and contributing to the conversation. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your vulnerability and your openness and willingness to have the conversation. And mostly, I'm looking forward to watching you all thrive. That's what we're here for. Okay, my friends, I'll see you guys next week. Okay, bye for now.